Hello and welcome to your practice today. We will be doing a Vini sequence that incorporates low back as well as some hamstrings. In today's practice, we will start in a seated shape, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you would like to use a few props today, such as a blanket and a block. I will offer different variations with each of those today. I will start in a seated shape, finding my way to the blanket. Maybe your eyes are open, eyes are closed. Taking time to come into your practice, finding your choice of legs. Maybe they're crossed. Option for them to be long in front of you. If your eyes are open, finding a soft, gentle gaze. And as we find ourselves here, the invitation is to start to notice the surface supporting us. Maybe you notice where your body is touching the surface supporting you. Maybe you notice if there's more weight on one side or the other. Inviting this information in with curiosity and openness, knowing there is nothing to change, just taking time to come into practice and notice. As you find yourself here, maybe you find your tallest self by lengthening spine, reaching crown of head high to sky. Hands may rest on your legs. Beginning to notice and connect with breath. As we draw attention and awareness to the breath, option to begin to notice quality of breath. As we draw attention to the breath, the quality of breath may change. Again, inviting anything in that presents itself to you. Option to use breath to guide and anchor you throughout your practice. If you notice your mind wandering or any discomfort or dis-ease, the invitation is to return to breath, to this moment, and to be here now. Throughout practice, I'll offer different options and variations of shapes and movements. And the invitation is to take whatever serves you and leave the rest, knowing this is your practice, and I honor and encourage you to find what you need. If something that I offer does not serve, my hope is you find something that does, allowing yourself the space. Option always to stay where you are, or when you're ready, taking your time, we'll gently find our way into a tabletop shape as we blink our eyes open if you find them closed. If you would like to bring the blanket into your practice, maybe you bring them under your knees and shins. As we bring our wrists under our shoulders, our hips over our knees, crown of head towards top edge of mat, tailbone towards back edge of mat, taking time to find this here. As we find an inhale, gently lowering belly, lifting gaze, keeping neck neutral. And on an exhale, hips to heels. Maybe forehead reaches the mat or block. On an inhale, flat back, lower belly, lift gaze. On an exhale, hips to heels. If you see your big toes, maybe widening feet a little more. Inhale, flat back, lower belly, lift gaze. Neck neutral. On an exhale, hips to heels. Taking time to find 3 more at your own breath pace, whatever that looks like for you. Trying to match the length with your movement. Once you found what you need, we'll meet in a neutral child's pose. Taking your time or finding anything else along the way that you and body need. From this shape, taking time to notice how you're feeling now. Maybe changes in breath, changes in sensation, and welcoming whatever you find with curiosity and openness. As you find your next inhale, we'll slowly and gently move into a belly down shape. Option if you would like to use the blanket underneath your hip points. From here, we'll bring our gaze to the left as we bring our hands slightly under our shoulders, pressing into tops of feet, elbows in towards side body. As we find an inhale, lifting heart, bringing gaze to center, cobra. On an exhale, gently release, gaze to the right. On an inhale, lift heart, cobra. On an exhale, gently release, gaze to the left. Inhale, lift heart. Exhale, release, gaze to the right. Inhale, lift heart. Exhale, release, gaze to the left. One more round. Inhale, lift heart. Exhale, release, gaze to the right. One more time. Inhale, lift heart. Exhale, release, gaze to the left. Option if you would like to stay here, or maybe you would like to find crocodile, bringing your elbows to the outside edge of the mat, stacking hands on one another as we gently lower the forehead or third eye. Breathing deeply. Taking time to find whatever you need, if that's movement. Using breath to release tension. When you're ready to release this shape, on an inhale, gently lifting the forehead as we bring hands under our shoulders, gazing to the left. Elbows in towards side body. This time, on an inhale, we'll lift our heart as we bend the left knee. On an exhale, gently release, gazing to the right. On an inhale, lift heart, bend right knee. On an exhale, gently release, gazing to the left. Inhale, lift heart, bend left knee. Exhale, release, gazing to the right. Inhale, lift heart, lift right knee. Exhale, release, gaze to the left. One more round. Inhale, lift heart, lift left. Exhale, release, gazing to the right. Inhale, lift heart, lift left, lift right. Exhale, release, gazing to the left. Again, option to stay here. Maybe you'd like to find crocodile, I dream of genie arms. Stacking hands on one another, lowering forehead or third eye. Breathing deep. Maybe noticing changes in sensation, changes in breath, or even changes in thought. Using breath to bring you back. Allowing yourself to be here now. As you find an inhale, slowly and gently lifting forehead when you're ready to release. Hands under shoulders, gazing to the left. On an inhale, lifting heart, lifting left leg, bending here. Taking an exhale. Inhale, lift right leg. On an exhale, gently release, gazing to the right, lowering legs. Inhale, lifting right leg. Exhale here. Inhale, lifting left leg. Exhale, release everything down. Inhale, lifting left. Exhale. Inhale, lifting right. Exhale, release everything, gaze to the right. Inhale, bend right leg, lift heart. Exhale here. Inhale, lift left. Exhale, release everything down. One more round. Inhale, lift left. Exhale. Inhale, lift right. Exhale, release everything down. Last one, gazing to the right. Inhale, lift right leg. Exhale, inhale, lift left. On an exhale, gently release, gazing to the left. Again, option to stay here, finding crocodile one final time. Maybe you find gentle movement. Maybe you breathe. Taking time to notice any information presenting itself to you. Taking time to be present with whatever is. On an inhale, slowly and gently making your way to a tabletop shape when you're ready, adjusting the blanket if you would like to continue to use that in your practice. From table, we'll slowly and gently shift our hips back, maybe forehead reaches the mat, finding our way to child's pose. On an inhale, flat back, coming back to table as we tuck our toes, and on an exhale, downward dog. On an inhale, gently lowering knees, untucking toes. Exhale, shifting hips to heels, child's pose. On an inhale, flat back, tabletop. Tucking your toes, and on an exhale, down. Inhale, finding our way back to table, untucking toes. And on an exhale, child's pose. Inhale, finding your way back to table. Exhale, tucking the toes, shifting your hips high. Inhale, lowering knees, untucking toes, table. Exhale, shifting hips back, child's. Inhale, finding our way back to table. As we tuck our toes, downward dog. One more round, lowering knees, untucking toes. Exhale, shifting hips to heels, finding breath. Inhale, moving into table. As we tuck the toes, shift the hips high, finding a downward facing dog. Option here to pedal out your feet. Taking any movements that call to you and body. Spreading fingers evenly. Maybe you nod or shake your head. Option to bend legs generously here. If you're using the blanket, pulling it out to the side. And when you're ready, we'll slowly and gently walk our hands back to meet our feet, finding a forward fold. Option to bend knees generously, allowing the torso to fall over our thighs. Option to nod or shake the head to encourage release or relaxation. As we find an inhale coming up for a halfway lift, straightening out your back, widening collarbones. Option for arms next to ears. And on an exhale, fold. On an inhale, bending knees, root to rise. Maybe arms go long overhead. Maybe you want to practice lifting heels here. As we find an exhale, tracing hands through heart center as we lower the heels, finding a forward fold. Inhale halfway, finding your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, bending knees, rising, maybe hands stay by sides, maybe heels lift. And on an exhale, finding the forward fold again. Inhale halfway, whatever that is for you. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bending knees, rising here, maybe heels lift. Gently warming up the legs. Exhale, landing everything down as hands fight heart center. Just taking a moment to notice how you're feeling now. From here, we'll lower our hands to our sides as we bring the right foot about 45 and take a gentle step forward with the left leg. Keeping hands long by sides. As we find an inhale, we'll lift our arms. And on an exhale, we'll bend into the front leg back about 45. Inhale, coming back to center, straightening leg, lower. Exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, straightening leg and lower. Exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, straightening leg and lower. Exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, straighten. One more time and hold. I'm taking time to notice how you're feeling. Notice what's coming up for you here. Notice maybe what is different in this shape with curiosity and openness. And when we're ready, we'll slowly release the hands as we straighten the front leg. And when you're ready, taking the gentle step back. Taking a moment to notice how you're feeling now. As we prepare ourselves for the second side, stepping the left foot to 45, taking a gentle step forward, taking time to set yourself up. As we find an inhale, reaching here. And on an exhale, bending into the front knee back about 45. Inhale, coming back to center, lowering arms. Exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, lower and straighten. Exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, lower and straighten. Exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, lower and straighten. Exhale, bend and reach as we hold. Noticing how this might feel different or the same as the first side. Letting whatever comes up for you to come up for you. Taking time. And when you're ready, gently release everything down as we straighten. Taking time to take the gentle step back. As we square off our feet and taking a moment to notice, how are we feeling now? From here, bringing the right foot 45 again as we take the gentle step forward. Bringing the back of the left hand to low back as we reach with the right arm next to ear. Taking an inhale here. And on an exhale, taking a forward fold. Maybe we bring the block in. On an inhale, halfway lift, bringing arm next to ear. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, rising all the way to standing, taking your time, knowing there is no rush. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, rising all the way. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway, arm next to ear. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, rise. This time we'll fold and hold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll still do the halfway lift. And on an exhale, folding here. Maybe your gaze is at your left knee. Taking time, belly button in towards spine. And when you're ready, taking your time, we'll slowly rise. As we release the hand, taking a gentle step back, taking time to notice how we're feeling now. And when you're ready, left foot about 45, as we take the gentle step forward with the right, bringing back a right hand to low back, reaching here with the left hand, taking an inhale, and on an exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift, arm next to ears. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, rising all the way. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Rising all the way. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift halfway, arm next to ear. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And as we find an exhale, we'll fold forward and hold. Inhale, halfway. As we settle in for our fold, option for gaze at the right knee. And when we're ready, gently rising all the way. As we release our hands, taking a moment to step back and notice, how are we feeling now? And from here, we'll bend into our legs as we move into tall kneeling. An option if you would like to bring the blanket back in. Tall kneeling is where our knees and shins are on the mat, tops of feet resting here. We'll bring the left hand, the back of left hand to low back as we reach with the right. As we find an exhale, hips to heels. Maybe forehead reaches the mat. As we find an inhale, gently rise. As we switch our arms. On an exhale, hips to heels, extending the left. On an inhale, gently rise. Switching arms when you're ready. On an exhale, hips to heels, maybe forehead touches mat. Maybe you find a block. Inhale, rise. On an exhale, switch. Taking an inhale here. Exhale, hips to heels. Inhale, rise. Exhale, switch. Rising as we fold. Inhale, rise. Switching here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. As we reach both arms. And on an exhale, hips to heels, hands low back. Taking a moment to notice how we're feeling. Option for hands to stay on low back, or maybe they lower to the mat, or maybe you even find a variation of a child's pose, taking whatever you and body need here. And on an inhale, we'll lift the forehead as we find our way to belly down. Adjusting the blanket, maybe under your hip points, hands under your shoulders, gazing to the left. As we find an inhale, we'll lift our heart as we hover the left leg. On an exhale, gently release, gazing to the right. Inhale, lift heart, hover left leg. On an exhale, gently release, gazing to the left. Inhale, lift heart, hover left leg. Exhale, release, gazing to the right. Inhale, lift heart, hover right leg. Exhale, release, gazing to the left. Inhale, lift heart, hover left. Exhale, release, gazing to the right. Inhale, hover right. Exhale, release, gazing to the left. Option if you would like to stay here, maybe you find crocodile, eye, dreamy genie arms, resting forehead or third eye. Breathing deep. And when you're ready, we'll slowly and gently find our way as we lift our forehead, gazing to the left, hands under your shoulders. One more variation. On an inhale, lift heart, hover left. On an exhale, holding here. Inhale, lift, hover right. On an exhale, gently release, gazing to the right. Inhale, hover right. Exhale here. Inhale, hover left. Exhale, release. Gaze to the left. Inhale, hover left. Exhale. Inhale, hover right. Exhale, release. Gaze to the right. Inhale, hover right. Exhale, hold. Inhale, hover left. Exhale, release. Gazing to the left. One more round. Inhale, hover left. Exhale, hold. Inhale, hover right. Exhale, release, gazing to the right. Last one. Inhale, hover right. Exhale, here. Inhale, hover left. Exhale, release, gazing to the left. Option one more time for crocodile in your practice today. Finding movement, breathing into back body, whatever calls to you. Noticing how you're feeling now. And when you're ready, gently lifting the forehead, finding our way to the tabletop shape. Stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. If you see your big toes, widening feet a little wider. Taking an inhale, and on an exhale, hips to heels. Inhale, flat back, coming back to table. Exhale, hips to heels. Inhale, flat back, back to table. Exhale, hips to heels. Inhale, counting to 4 as you inhale. On an exhale, counting to 4 as you exhale. Inhale, 4 count. Exhale, 4 count. Pausing here, noticing how you're feeling. Pressing into the palms as you lift your forehead, sitting out onto either hip, and we move into constructive rest. Maybe you bring the blanket underneath your hips. Constructive rest is soles of feet on the mat, knees pointed high to sky, hands maybe long by sides. Taking a moment to notice how you're feeling. And when you're ready, we'll bring the left knee in towards your chest. On an exhale, straightening leg. Inhale, knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. 2 more. Knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. Last one. Knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten, and we'll hold. As we slowly release, bringing it back down, lowering legs, and just taking a moment to notice how you're feeling. When you're ready, we'll move on to the second side, finding our way back into constructive rest. As we bring our right knee in towards our chest, exhale, straightening here. Inhale, knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. 3 more. Knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. Knee in towards chest. Exhale, straighten. Last time. Knee in towards chest. And when you're ready, holding here as you straighten. And when you're ready, slowly bending the knee as we lower the right leg all the way down and then the left, taking a moment to notice how you're feeling. Whenever you're ready, gently moving back into constructive rest as we bring our palms down to the mat, moving into dynamic bridge. As we find an inhale, lifting hips as we bring our arms long overhead, bringing knees in towards one another, even if they're not touching. Exhale, gently release everything back down. Inhale, lifting legs, lifting hips, lifting arms. Exhale, release everything back down. Inhale, lifting hips, lifting arms. Exhale, release everything down. Inhale, lifting hips, lifting arms. Exhale, release everything down. Inhale, lifting hips, lifting arms. Exhale, release. Last one. Lifting hips, lifting arms, and holding. Maybe you draw your head towards your heels, taking time to notice how you're feeling. Knees in towards one another, even if they aren't touching. Welcoming the shaking, the prana, anything that's presenting itself to you. And when you're ready, slowly and gently release everything back down. As we bring our palms to our knees, on an inhale, drawing the knees in towards chest. And on an exhale, we'll push the legs away as we straighten arms, hover feet. Inhale, knees in towards chest. Exhale, push legs away, hover feet. Inhale, knees in towards chest. Exhale, push and hover. Inhale, knees in towards chest. As we gently release the knees to the left, option to goalpost or tee out your arms. Maybe your gaze stays high or maybe it falls to the right. Maybe you'd like to stay where you are. Maybe you'd like to bring your gaze back to center as the top knee and the bottom knee finds its way back in towards your chest. Option to push the legs away and hover, or find anything else that calls to you in body as we prepare ourselves for the second side. Finding whatever you need. As we bring our knees in towards chest, we'll gently release them to the right. Maybe you escape your hips to the left. Goalpost or tee out your arms. Gaze maybe high or maybe it falls to the left. As you find an inhale, gently bringing gaze back to center. As the top knee and bottom knee finds its way into your chest, squaring off the hips and taking time to find anything else that calls to you before you end your practice. Finding any movements, any shapes of stillness, whatever you and body need as we prepare for our final resting shape of Shavasana. Maybe that's lying down on your back or your belly. Maybe it's seated or even on your sides. Taking time to find whatever calls to you in body, to allow yourself to rest and take in all the information from our practice today. Slowly and gently returning to your mat by deepening your inhales and exhales. As you reconnect with the rise and fall of your breath as it enters and exits the body. Option to gently find movement by turning the head from one side to the other. Maybe the thumb finds the tips of your fingers, gently awakening them. Option to circle your wrists and ankles in each direction. Option to reach arms long overhead to find a full body stretch. Maybe you hug knees in towards chest, giving yourself a gentle squeeze. You may choose to end practice wherever you find yourself. Or if you would like, slowly and gently making your way to a seated chair. If it calls to you, maybe you take a moment to bring hands to heart center, pressing thumbs into sternum, connecting with yourself, with this moment, and the life force within you. Thank you for taking time to share your energy and practice with me today. In light and love, namaste.